Imagine an incredibly picturesque and mesmerizing landscape, an endless azure sky stretching like a vast canvas, where light clouds resembling curly white horses leap and flicker, creating the sensation that you are not looking at the sky, but at a huge herd of wild galloping horses. Beneath this majestic vault of heaven lie expansive emerald steppes, which seem like an endless green carpet laid out with grass, where herds of snow-white sheep peacefully graze. In the distance, on the horizon, you can see the silhouettes of mountains. They rise and fall like giant folds, stretching across the entire sky as if part of a colossal tapestry woven from natural colors and textures. All of this is the splendor of Mongolia, a country where nature appears to create vivid paintings that evoke awe and reverence in everyone who visits. These landscapes are striking in their pristine beauty, and the authentic cultural traditions rooted in the hearts of its people remain forever in the memories of travelers, leaving a deep impression. Mongolia is not only a land of breathtaking natural beauty and unique landscapes, but also a place where people live with a rich cultural heritage, traditions and customs passed down from generation to generation. Here one can feel the spirit of adventure by traveling across endless steppes on a lively horse, learning the art of archery, hunting with a golden eagle, or building traditional yurts, mobile and comfortable dwellings that have become a symbol of the Mongolian people. This country is attractive not only for its natural beauty, but also for its history, filled with heroic pages. Mongolia is the homeland of the legendary Genghis Khan, the great Khan whose name is known and revered worldwide, and whose legacy continues to live in the hearts and minds of the modern people. Let us take a closer look at some of the unique features of this land, for each of its traits is a true wonder and part of a rich cultural code. One such remarkable tradition is associated with women living in Mongolia. The more beautiful and educated a girl becomes, the harder it is for her to find her destiny. This reflects the peculiarities of local traditions and social norms that have shaped the role of women in Mongolian society for centuries. Today, the situation has significantly changed. Mongolian women more and more often surpass men in education levels, obtaining higher education and professional training. However, despite this progress, high social status and intellectual achievements often make the search for a suitable life partner a very challenging task. Many families invest substantial resources in their daughters' education, sending them to prestigious schools and universities in major cities, because they believe that only this way can they ensure a decent future for their daughters. They see education as the main key to success and stability in the future. At the same time, in traditional Mongolian society, there is a belief that women should marry and become wives at an early age, since the main activities of women are livestock husbandry and managing the household. Usually, these tasks are performed by men who stay at home, taking care of the livestock and household, while women, especially in rural areas, serve as keepers of the hearth and caregivers for children. This trend has led to a peculiar paradox. Women are becoming increasingly educated, face unemployment less often, and live nearly 10 years longer than men on average. Yet social inequality and traditional customs make it difficult for them to find a life partner. This problem is particularly acute in cities, where lifestyles and perspectives differ significantly from rural traditional culture. Girls who choose urban life and pursue education encounter serious difficulties in finding a partner. According to national statistics, the marriage rate in Ulaanbaatar, the capital and largest city of Mongolia, has noticeably declined in recent years. Urban women more frequently complain about a shortage of suitable and worthy partners. Additionally, Mongolia exhibits a clear and noticeable gender imbalance, which manifests both in educational institutions and workplaces. This disparity is especially evident in the fact that there are significantly more men than women. Specifically, over 40% of men over the age of 15 are already married, indicating a high level of family stability among the male population. Meanwhile, only 32% of women are married, creating the impression of a smaller and more vulnerable female segment of society. Moreover, Mongolian women face a double burden. They must simultaneously seek stable employment and plan to start a family, often before the age of 39. Those who fail to achieve these vital life goals in a timely manner are forced to change their outlook on the future and reconsider their life priorities. Historical data from the 1990s onward show that with Mongolia's transition from a planned economy to a market economy, thousands of women faced new challenges and opportunities that radically changed their destinies and roles in society. In the 1990s, when the country began integrating into the international market system, many men lost their jobs due to economic restructuring and the closure of enterprises. At the same time, international organizations and humanitarian projects started paying special attention to women's health and living conditions, leading to a noticeable shift in the social sphere. As a result, Mongolian men are increasingly facing social problems such as alcoholism, high unemployment, and declining living standards, while government support in addressing these issues is often absent or insufficient. When discussing hospitality in Mongolia, it is impossible not to highlight that it is one of the country's most important traditions, truly impressive and demonstrating the depth of national culture. Mongolia is renowned for its unique customs of hospitality. Every visit to this people turns into a special ritual filled with warmth and respect for the guest. When you enter a Mongolian home, the host greets you with a sincere smile and invites you inside, showing genuine hospitality and respect. As a sign of respect to the host and their home, you may be asked to touch your forehead to theirs, a gesture symbolizing respect and blessing. Then you are seated at a low table and offered traditional drinks, among which milk tea holds a special place, a beverage prepared personally by the host. This ritual emphasizes the importance of respecting the guest and demonstrates how much human relationships and attention to detail are valued by Mongols. Before accepting the drink, it is customary to take a small sip, showing respect and gratitude for the hospitality. In addition to tea, the houses serve various national dishes, each embodying the richness and traditions of the country. It is very important to maintain a respectful tone in conversation and avoid discussing sensitive topics such as politics, religion, or finances. This is considered a sign of tact and respect for the hosts and their culture. Showing interest in Mongolian everyday life and traditions is regarded as good manners and helps establish trustful relationships. In nomadic communities, special attention is paid to guests of venerable age. They are often offered the most valuable delicacies, such as the head of a sheep or goat, which is considered a symbol of special respect and honor. For middle-aged men and young people, the offerings are usually simpler, more accessible and less refined dishes, which still serve as a sign of friendliness and hospitality. Some argue that a particular challenge for guests may be the body odor of nomads, caused by their diet rich in mutton, yogurts, and infrequent bathing procedures. Although such an aroma may seem unusual to some Europeans, it is considered part of traditional culture and does not hinder showing respect and warm attitude toward the hosts. When talking about the modern status of men in Mongolia, it is impossible not to mention the significant imbalance between the number of men and women. The country exhibits a clear predominance of women. The day when a person faces high levels of stress and responsibility for their family, and society often becomes a source of deep internal tension and psychological pressure, which can manifest in various forms. Part 4 of 14. This is especially felt in situations where people are forced to struggle with harsh conditions, responsibility for the well-being of their loved ones, and the need to fulfill their social roles. Such constant internal conflict and tension can lead to an increase in domestic violence, which becomes a concerning consequence of social imbalance. In particular, women in these circumstances often have to contend with a heavy emotional and psychological burden, which in turn can provoke or exacerbate instances of violence within the home. Experts note that in such cases, the situation is further complicated by the fact that women are often forced to cope with this tension without sufficient support or resources to protect themselves or resolve conflicts. In response to these complex issues, Mongolia proposed a very unusual and controversial idea that attracted widespread public and international attention. The country's authorities suggested considering the possibility of importing men from other countries to address the demographic imbalance caused by a significant deficit of male population. According to reports from local sources, plans are underway to attract men from abroad to reduce the disparity between the number of men and women. In Mongolia, some data suggests that one man may have up to 100 women, which further highlights the complexity and unusual nature of the situation faced by this country. Such a social structure undoubtedly raises many questions and concerns, as it reflects deep social and cultural problems related to gender balance and societal relationships. Despite measures taken by the government to address demographic and social issues, the process is progressing very slowly and requires significant efforts from the entire society. Authorities understand that achieving sustainable change requires long-term and systemic efforts that unite government institutions, civil society organizations, and citizens themselves. Behind this challenging situation, beyond the picturesque steppes and endless skies of Mongolia, lies a troubling and grim reality. The country ranks first in the world for levels of violence against women. According to a study conducted by the United Nations Population Fund in 2022, 1 in 3 women in Mongolia could be considered a victim of violence in her lifetime. This statistic is shocking and underscores the scale of the problem, which remains relevant to this day. Data show that only 46% of teenage girls in Mongolia feel safe walking around their neighborhood after dark. This indicator demonstrates that many young women are exposed to threats and risks related to a lack of security in public spaces. An important factor affecting women's vulnerability is their income level. Wealthier women often become the main patrons of city bars and cafes, which in turn increases their susceptibility to various types of violence. In most cases, due to a lack of public transportation, they are forced to walk home late at night, creating additional risks and dangers to their safety. The main reasons for this difficult situation lie in deeply rooted gender prejudices that make women more vulnerable and prone to violence. These prejudices often dictate stereotypical perceptions of women's roles in society, viewing them as less significant or even responsible for potential negative situations. As a result, women can become victims of physical and psychological violence for a wide range of reasons: for their disobedience, violation of traditional roles, neglect of household duties, or disagreement with their husband's demands. Such violence causes severe harm not only to their physical health, but also to their psychological well-being, leading to anxiety, depression, and even post-traumatic stress disorder. This problem leaves deep wounds that are difficult to heal and requires a systematic approach to its resolution. The stones, which were supposed to be perfectly cleaned of dirt, smooth and rounded, were arranged in such a way that heat was evenly distributed and penetrated all layers of the ingredients. After filling the bag, the goat's neck was tightly tied with a metal wire to ensure a hermetic seal. The most important stage then began: the cooking process. Everything happened thanks to the high temperature of hot stones, which slowly cooked the meat and vegetables from the inside, preventing the products from drying out or overheating. Small holes were made inside the bag to monitor the process, through which excess fat could escape. It was precisely by the drops of hot fat that the doneness of the dish could be determined. If the fat stopped flowing or became scarce, it meant that the meat had reached the desired level of doneness. When the process was complete, the meat was carefully removed from the bag, and the juice collected inside was used as a delicious sauce, giving the dish a special richness. Afterward, the leftover stones from the cooking process were not eaten. They were reused or set aside for other purposes, as the main dish was considered a delicacy. All other food, including meat, vegetables, and spices, was regarded as a valuable treat, worthy of special respect and reverence. Traditionally, the bog was prepared in winter because it was a very hearty dish capable of helping people warm up during the harsh frosts characteristic of Mongolian winters. In such cold months, when temperatures often drop below -30 degrees Celsius, this type of meal was not only tasty, but also vital for maintaining energy and warmth. Regarding the hygienic customs of ancient Mongols, they were quite unusual and differed from modern notions. During the era of Genghis Khan, Mongols adhered to their unique system of views on health and cleanliness. They believed that bathing and using water in everyday life disrupted the Earth's energy lines, called dragon veins. Therefore, they avoided frequent washing of the body and did not wash clothes to prevent contaminating the water, considering it sacred. In nomadic conditions, Mongol warriors wore their clothes for a long time, only occasionally removing them to get rid of insects or dirt, then putting them back on. They wore their clothes until they literally fell apart, as it was believed that this preserved their energetic power and connection with nature. The only exceptions were festive days and special occasions, when they would. The history of Mongolia is a rich and multi-layered heritage, in which the development of trade routes, cultural exchange, and the formation of a unique civilization played a significant role, influencing world history as a whole. One of the most vivid testimonies of this is the Great Silk Road, an ancient trade route connecting the East and West, through which not only goods but also ideas, religions, technologies, and cultural traditions traveled. This path became an integral part of the development of the Mongol Empire, contributing to the strengthening of the economy, the creation of new political systems, and the formation of intercontinental connections that continue to influence the present day. The legacy of this grand historical process still lives on in Mongolia's culture and national identity, serving as a source of pride and a foundation for the country's further development. At the center of this historical narrative is the figure of Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire, whose persona has forever entered the annals of world history. This great military leader and statesman was not only a master of martial arts, but also a visionary strategist whose ideas and methods of governance had a decisive impact on the formation of the most powerful empire, which at its height became the largest on the continent in all of human history. His successes in uniting the scattered Mongol tribes, previously divided by rival chieftains and nomadic groups, laid the groundwork for a unified state capable of expansion through clever tactics and exceptional tactical flexibility. Genghis Khan's strategies included not only the use of force, but also subtle maneuvering, concentrating troops at the enemy's weak points, encirclement, and phased destruction of opponents. He created an army capable of winning on various fronts, thanks to its ability to quickly adapt to changing battlefield conditions and employ scouts to gather valuable intelligence about the enemy. This secret of success enabled him to conduct campaigns under the most challenging conditions, demonstrating remarkable efficiency. An essential component of his victories was the ability to move swiftly and apply tactics that allowed him to surpass enemies in numbers and technology. Genghis Khan did not limit himself to military conquests alone. He established a legal system that served as the foundation for maintaining order within the empire. These laws not only regulated the lives and behavior of the population, but also stimulated trade, cultural exchange, and economic development. Thanks to this, under the leadership of the great chieftain, trade along the Silk Road flourished, ensuring economic prosperity and uniting peoples. His efforts to create a stable governance system and promote the exchange of knowledge and technologies laid the groundwork for further cultural and technological achievements that influenced the entire course of history. This legacy made Genghis Khan not only a great conqueror, but also a reformer whose influence is felt to this day. His abilities as a leader and reformer helped create an empire that expanded not only through military campaigns, but also strengthened through internal organization, legislation, and trade development. The impact of his rule is still felt in modern Mongolia, where the memory of him remains a symbol of national pride and historical heritage, and his ideas and principles continue to inspire new generations. Mongolia is a country where ancient traditions and modernity are closely intertwined, creating a unique atmosphere in which more than a quarter of the population lives. The majority of the people still lead a nomadic lifestyle, remaining closely connected to nature and their livestock. This way of life has been shaped over centuries and continues to exist thanks to the special conditions of the steppe plains. At the heart of this lifestyle are dwellings called yurts, traditional homes that are easy to dismantle and reassemble, an important part of nomadic culture. Yurts made from felt and felted wool serve not only as shelter, but also as a symbol of their way of life, providing all the necessary conditions for living, from a kitchen and a resting area to space for socializing and communal activities. Mongolian nomads maintain a special connection with nature and their livestock, which includes horses, sheep, goats, and cattle. Despite all the achievements and development of modern society, many Mongols continue to live in harmony with nature, preserving their ancient traditions and customs passed down from generation to generation. Their lives still place great importance on the bond with the land, nature, and cultural heritage, which form the foundation of their national identity. Although today a significant portion of Mongolian nomads have moved to cities in search of more comfortable living and working conditions, their cultural values and rituals remain alive and relevant. These traditions serve as a link between the past and the present, helping to preserve the uniqueness and authenticity of the people. Mongolian culture is still actively supported by the state, which incorporates elements of ancient customs and traditional values into modern life. Nomadic festivals are regularly organized, filled with vibrant rituals, songs, dances, and national cuisine. These events attract tourists from around the world, giving them the opportunity to experience Mongolia's unique culture, understand the nuances of their way of life, and immerse themselves in the atmosphere of ancient rites. Such celebrations become a kind of bridge between antiquity and modernity, promoting the preservation of the country's rich heritage. A special place in the life of the Mongolian people is occupied by national holidays, among which the Gansar Festival, or White Month, stands out. It is celebrated in honor of the transition from the harsh winter to the warm spring. Unlike many Western traditions, Mongols do not celebrate Christmas. However, they joyfully and enthusiastically celebrate this spring festival, which symbolizes renewal, the awakening of nature, and the rebirth of life. The name of this holiday is associated with the white color of winter, as well as with traditional white foods that are an essential part of the feast during this period. During the festival days, Mongolia is filled with a special atmosphere of joy and gratitude, and people gather together to share the warmth and light of the coming spring. During national ceremonies such as Chagansar, elders of families and the younger generation participate in special rituals that emphasize respect for traditions and ancient customs. At this moment, the elders, showing particular reverence, act as mentors and guardians of knowledge, while the young family members perform special rites associated with symbols of respect and gratitude. During these ceremonies, men, demonstrating their appreciation and respect, kneel on both knees and, bowing their heads, extend their hands forward to show reverence. Women, in turn, are required to kneel on one knee and serve drinks with their right hand, demonstrating their deference and respect for their elders. At this time, not only is there an exchange of drinks, but also the performance of songs symbolizing well-being and unity. During the New Year celebrations, Mongols traditionally observe a special tea-drinking ritual. Beforehand, cups are carefully washed in milk, symbolizing purity and prosperity. The first cup of tea is poured out in 4 directions, which is considered a talisman against evil spirits and misfortune. Afterward, the tea is poured into cups, one for the head of the family and the others for other family members and guests. This custom underscores the importance of family bonds and unity, as well as showing respect for ancestral traditions that have served as the foundation of harmony in Mongolian life for centuries. Elderly Mongols, who often wear fur coats and hats characteristic of herders and nomads, display special reverence for traditional clothing and rituals. In their hands, they hold a whip, which they crack into the air, believing this gesture to be a talisman that wards off evil spirits and provides protection for both villagers and their livestock. This ritual is an ancient tradition passed down through generations, as it is believed that it can ensure prosperity and safety in household life and overall well-being. Young people in Mongolia seek to demonstrate their riding skills and agility by choosing the best horses for competitions and entertainment. Horse riding across the steppes and showcasing mastery and horsemanship are common pursuits. In Mongolia, a country with a rich history and vibrant traditions, hunting wild birds holds a special place in the cultural heritage of the people. These birds, possessing exceptional vision and capable of reaching high speeds in flight, are considered some of the best natural hunters. Their agility and sharp eyesight allow them to quickly detect prey across vast steppe expanses, making them indispensable in hunting practices. Despite modern changes in lifestyle, the culture of eagle hunting continues to be preserved and developed. In Mongolia, festivals and competitions are regularly held where people demonstrate their skills in taming and managing these remarkable birds. Such events not only showcase mastery, but also foster pride in their cultural heritage, passed down from generation to generation. An important part of this tradition is the constant connection with nature and the ability to live harmoniously with the wild. Mongolia is a vast country located in Central Asia, renowned for its unique name, the Land of Blue Skies. The climate here is quite harsh and continental. The air is dry, clouds are few, and precipitation is limited. Although the sun shines in this country about 250 days a year, there are not many warm days, as high altitude and climatic features significantly influence the weather. Summer in Mongolia is short, lasting only a few weeks, and during this time, daytime temperatures range from 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. At night, temperatures can drop to zero, reminding us that summer in this country is brief and unpredictable. Winters here last long, from November to April, and these months are considered a real challenge for travelers and those wishing to get to know Mongolia better. During winter, temperatures often fall to minus 30 degrees, and during particularly cold periods, even to minus 35. Snowfalls in winter greatly complicate transportation, making travel across the country more difficult and requiring special preparation. Therefore, if you plan to visit Mongolia in winter, it is essential to bring warm clothing and reliable gear. Even in summer, nights can be very cold here, and winter frosts demand specialized equipment to ensure warmth and comfort. The capital of Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar, located near the Tule River, is the country's largest city and its historical and cultural center. This city, previously known as Urga until 1924, when it was renamed, now serves as an important political, economic, and cultural hub of Mongolia. Ulaanbaatar is home to many famous attractions that draw tourists and locals alike. Among them are the spacious Sukbatar Square, which is the heart of the city, and the ancient Gandan Monastery, where the traditions of Buddhist faith are preserved. The Winter Palace of Bog Khan is a historic building filled with history and culture, while the National Museum of Mongolia offers a unique opportunity to learn about the country's rich past. The entire city is imbued with a spirit of history and modernity, creating a unique atmosphere that attracts people from around the world. Mongolia is also famous for its unique national event called Nadam. This major festival is held annually in summer and has become one of the most vivid expressions of the country's cultural identity. Nadam is not just a sports competition, but a true celebration of the people, uniting traditions, music, dance, and folk games. Its history dates back over 800 years, beginning in the era of the great warrior and conqueror Genghis Khan, when these competitions served as a way to select brave and strong warriors to defend the homeland. Today, Nadam has transformed into a major cultural event of great significance for the Mongols, as it reflects their national spirit, pride, and passion for traditional sports. The main competitions of this festival are three key events: archery, which is considered a sacred art for Mongols and a symbol of their heritage, wrestling, and horse racing. The geographical location and the historical role played by the Silk Road have had a profound influence not only on the development of ancient civilizations, but also on the formation of the cultural and economic landscape of the modern world. At the heart of this great trade network connecting Asia and Europe were the Mongols, a people who had a unique opportunity to leverage the strategic position of their lands to strengthen and expand their empire. Their territory, rich with vital trade routes, allowed them not only to control key segments of the route, but also to become primary intermediaries between the East and West. As a result, the Mongols collected tolls from caravans, ensured the safety of transported goods, and provided essential services, ultimately transforming them into a powerful participant in the global trade of that era. This economic and strategic dominance contributed to the significant growth of the state's wealth and power, as well as to the strengthening of national identity. For the Mongols, the Silk Road was not just a trade route, but a symbol of their authority and prosperity, an opportunity to emphasize their role in world history. Such status enabled them not only to benefit from trade, but also to use the route as a powerful tool to achieve their political and military objectives. The power of Genghis Khan, the great Khan and founder of the Mongol Empire, recognized the importance of this route. He did not limit himself to commercial activities. He saw the Silk Road as a means to expand his empire, conquer new territories, and strengthen control over vast lands. Under his leadership, this route became a strategic instrument for rapid troop movements, transportation of food, ammunition, and resources necessary for military campaigns. Control over the Silk Road allowed Genghis Khan to effectively suppress resistance from enemies, remove obstacles to his army's advance, and create conditions for swift and unimpeded offensives. The Mongols not only ensured the safety of caravans by establishing security systems and guarded routes, but also actively implemented policies to stimulate trade. Roads, bridges, and key nodes along the route were built and fortified, making it more reliable and accessible. These measures contributed to the Silk Road becoming more vibrant and prosperous than ever before. Thanks to these efforts, trade flourished and cultural exchange between peoples reached new heights. The role of the Mongols in the development and support of this vital route left a lasting mark on history. Their contribution to the organization and development of the Silk Road made it not only a hub of trade, but also a bridge for the transfer of knowledge, culture, technologies, and goods between Asia and Europe. This exchange helped shape the modern world, where mutual understanding and cultural interaction play a key role. Their efforts helped create conditions for the prosperity of numerous cities and settlements along the route, ultimately transforming the Silk Road into one of the most important transportation arteries of antiquity. Turning to natural and geographical features, one cannot fail to mention the Gobi Desert, the largest desert in Asia. This vast natural area extends across Mongolia and China, covering an area of over 1 million square kilometers. In terms of size, it ranks fifth among the deserts of the world, with a total area exceeding 2 million square kilometers. The Gobi is not just a desert of sand and rocky plains. It is a unique natural complex that combines diverse landscapes and natural riches, making it a true natural monument. Its landscapes impress with their beauty and diversity. There are not only endless golden sand dunes gradually transitioning into rocky plains, but also winding mountain ranges covered with greenery and vast steppes inhabited by numerous species of animals and birds. These natural conditions create a special climate and living conditions for flora and fauna, adapted to the harsh and often unpredictable climatic features of the region. The Gobi attracts tourists from around the world not only with its natural beauty. Mongolia is a country whose name evokes associations with vast expanses, pristine nature, and a rich history shrouded in many mysteries that attract travelers from all over the globe. Although its territory, in terms of area, resembles endless steppes stretching over hundreds of thousands of square kilometers, this country possesses unique features that make it truly special among the nations of the world. Despite being one of the largest countries by area, Mongolia's population is extremely sparse, only about 2 people per square kilometer. Such a low population creates a unique atmosphere, different from life in more densely populated countries, and sparks interest in its culture, nature, and way of life. One of Mongolia's most astonishing features is its navy, unique in its kind. In a country that practically has no access to the sea, there exists a small but very unusual fleet operating on Mongolia's famous Blue Pearl Lake, Kufsko. This fleet includes only 7 people, making it one of the smallest in the world. Despite the absence of seas, the Mongolian fleet comprises various types of vessels, including even oil tankers designed for transporting fuel across the lake. Such an unusual and unique fleet serves as a vital part of the region's infrastructure, ensuring the supply and transportation of resources, which reflects technical ingenuity and the special living conditions in the country. Mongolia is the least densely populated country on the planet, with just over 2 people per square kilometer. This circumstance creates a unique living experience that differs significantly from what residents of more densely populated countries are accustomed to. Several factors underlie this situation. First and foremost, most of the country is covered by endless steppes, high mountains, and deserts, making agricultural development and settlement construction difficult. The climate here is harsh. Winters are very cold and summers are short and hot, further limiting the possibilities for year-round farming and habitation in the same locations. Traditionally, Mongols lead a nomadic lifestyle, moving seasonally in search of fresh grass and water for their livestock. This way of life, based on constant movement and adaptation to natural conditions, complicates the creation of sustainable, permanent settlements. As a result, large cities in the conventional sense are virtually absent in Mongolia, and people live in mobile yurts, relocating depending on the season and their needs. This nomadic tradition shapes a special way of life, where each season brings new challenges and opportunities. The low population density is not only a defining feature of the country, but also one of its key advantages. Since human activity has little impact on the environment on a large scale, as is typical in more populated states, Mongolia's nature remains almost untouched. The air here is clean and fresh, and the landscapes are truly majestic and vast. The expanses of steppes, mountain ranges, and picturesque lakes create a sense of harmony and tranquility that is inaccessible in densely urbanized areas. This is a place where one can fully enjoy the beauty of nature, feel connected with the surrounding world, and restore inner balance. Despite its remoteness and small population, Mongolia is gradually developing and modernizing. The government is making significant efforts to improve the living conditions of its citizens, attract investments, and develop tourism. The country is actively working on expanding infrastructure, modernizing transportation systems, and creating conditions for comfortable living and working. These measures not only help preserve the unique natural environment and traditional way of life, but also ensure a stable future for the country and its people. It can be said that Mongolia is a unique country with truly extraordinary characteristics, among which its lowest population density holds a special place. This is a place where you can find endless natural expanses, enjoy majestic landscapes, and explore a rich culture that dates back centuries. Here, tradition and modernity blend harmoniously, combining a nomadic way of life with the development of infrastructure.